Time No Longer, Chapter 9, Part B, Jews. John has taken us through 1948 years of history in a rather rapid fashion. We have tried to digest 20 centuries of conflict in just 11 short chapters. No mean feat. For clarification and to crystallize what has transpired, let us review this complex area of prophecy. The fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and the angel opened the bottomless pit. The angel of the devil was stated to be Apollyon, a name similar to Napoleon. The little general was the first successful world conqueror in the 150-year period 1798 to 1948. Another name is given, that of Abaddon. As with Apollyon, a simple derivation could be a bad one. Could a better single word be used to describe the tyrant, Adolf Hitler? I doubt it. Arguably, in the history of the world, Hitler was as bad as they come. Not coincidentally, the angels of the devil open this bottomless pit as God's angel is sounding the fifth trumpet. The fourth trumpet prophecy clearly occurs in the 1750 to 1800 era. The next trumpeted eras are called woes. There have been two major and at least a partially successful attempts to unify Europe and the Mediterranean since the 1750 to 1800 time frame. Napoleon's attempt came about from 1800 to 815. Adolf Hitler's Third Reich was conceived, came to fruition, then fell in the 1930 to 1945 period. Each of these power-hungry generals worked for about 15 years to accomplish his goal of European unification and ultimately world control. Each came alarmingly close to his goal. Ironically, the downfall of both evil angels occurred in very similar fashion. Napoleon pushed east into Russia, but eventually nature, in the form of a harsh winter, stalled his progress. He lost the majority of his army and became a sitting duck for the powerful English navy and then its army at the battle called Waterloo. Hitler's blitzkrieg was even more astonishing than Napoleon's, but his continued eastward thrust was stalled as well by the bitter cold of another harsh winter. Once again, God chose to use the simple, yet overwhelming power of nature to stall the devil's cunning plan. Hitler, too, became a sitting duck for Britain and the emerging superpower of the United States of America. The First World War, although involving the major world powers of the day, was not about world conquest. It was more of a reorganizing of Europe. There was no dominant or tyrannical leader during that war. Certainly the scope and magnitude of casualties places World War I in the same category as Napoleon and Hitler's conflicts, without the same goal of world domination. As our earlier Jewish prophecy states in Revelation 11:7, when they have their testimony, the beast from the bottomless pit shall overcome them and kill them. The kings of the bottomless pit will arise and torment the people of God. God's chosen people may also be called the people that choose God. God chooses all humanity as He created and loves each and every one of them as we would love our own children. Unfortunately, we do not all choose God for reasons that remain unclear. Only in the heavenly courts, when we have opportunity to review the record of world history and its human inhabitants, will we understand the motives of sin. That time period occurred after the trumpet number 4, which we established to be approximately 750 to 1800. Assuming the 5-month period to begin in 1798, the period ends in 1948. There is a significant evidence pinpointing the 150-year period as being 1798 to 1948. Future events and information confirm these dates to be accurate. The Jews as a people were not only tormented but persecuted, hunted down, and slaughtered in the great Holocaust of World War II. Adolf Hitler masterminded this most dastardly deed in world history. In truth, could any human mind, sane or otherwise, even think of going to such vile extremes? I think not. Verse 8 of chapter 11 paints the terrible picture in graphic detail. The recent motion picture Schindler's List makes the bloody picture ever clearer in the eyes of the world. Their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. The above reference is to equate the act of Nazism with the persecution, slavery, and death of Jewish people in history. Sodom's vileness led to the death of much of Abraham's offspring when God finally was forced to torch the city. Egypt carried out Jewish oppression and slavery for 400 years. In Jerusalem, the King of the Jews was crucified inexorably on a cross with two thieves, and now in the 1940s the Nazi war machine took up the task. Millions of Jews were led to the slaughter as the world watched. Hitler, an angel of the bottomless pit, gave speech after speech, hypnotizing the German people into celebration and wild frenzy. Never in history was there ever more mass mind control than that of Adolf Hitler. I do not believe any human can exercise that kind of mind control over humanity. Truly the evil one and his leading henchmen must have been behind evil atrocities. They took possession of the body of Hitler and set a new standard for evil. The Holocaust is another fulfillment of prophecy. The 3.5-year period of World War II and its resultant Holocaust ended in 1945. This brings us to the end of the second woe as described in Revelation 11:14. The Jewish death toll is listed in textbooks as approximately 6 million. If we utilize the standard of prophecy equation of 1 equals 1,000, the figure would be 7 million. No one knows the exact figure, but the unaccounted could push the widely quoted figure of 6 million nearer to 7 million. In any event, the number of unspeakable acts of homicide is astounding. At this time the Spirit of God entered into the slain Jews, and they were resurrected in full view of their murderers. Of interest, not a word of this event was uttered by its perpetrators at the Nuremberg war crime trials in 1948. Likely their shame was too great. The 144,000, in actuality 144 million, plus unnumbered companies of non-Jewish saints were resurrected in 1798 at the close of the 1260-year period. These 7 million Jews now join their compatriots in heaven to worship their Creator and view the remaining events in world history as they unfold. Revelation 11:13 states that the 10th part of the city, Jewish nation, fell, a plausible fraction of all Jews existing in the world in 1945. Thus, Woe II, that is World War II, culminating in the Jewish Holocaust, mercifully comes to a close. Woe I is the reign and conquer of the angel of the bottomless pit, and Woe II encompasses World War II. The torment of Christians and Jews for 5 months or 150 years in Revelation 9:5 now ends. The 150-year period began in 1798 and ends in 1948. World order is now restored. The Nuremberg trials expose Nazism and condemn it for its unthinkable crimes. The Jewish people, with world order restored, are given back their country and proclaim Jerusalem their capital. They are no longer a man without a country. Thus ends the 150 years of torment. But alas, the third woe is yet to come.